more openness, recognizing the relevance of identity. For police, contemplating cops, that essay included the suggestions that police departments should be more open on macro issues to the perspectives of other departments and agencies and to non-police skills. The second suggestion is that police departments and others should be more open to re-examining the meanings of police identities, badges, and titles. Now, for PA thinkers, essay number 1 asks, doesn't contemplating cops suggest that PA should explore the relevance, if any, of the extent of the merger in practice of police policy and police administration, and why confinement to administration should remain a leading feature of the identity of public administration. So now let's turn to the next one, beyond simplicity and the unethical, again recognizing identity. For police, contemplating cops included the suggestions that police policy making and administration about crime control should not be shackled by dualistic thinking and the childlike impulse for simplistic and one-line answers. If you want an example, turn on to the next police story you hear on the news. The second suggestion is in accordance with what the NYPD police commissioner of that time, Patrick B. Murphy, asserted, that the claim that police departments enforce all laws equally is nonsense and silly. That is, he meant that they should equally enforce. For PA thinkers, a question is, to what extent is PA shackled by dualistic thinking and on some over-reliance on CYA ethics that might be avoided by understanding of, say, postmodernism and epistemic pluralism? On essay number 3, outside of the box, again recognizing identity. For PA thinkers, contemplating bureaucracies include the suggestions that there's benefit in stimulating the imagination by playing with foreign thinking and practices about bureaucracy. Working in a foreign bureaucracy, not merely attending a conference or visiting a bar or sitting on a beach or learning a few words in a foreign language, is typically more helpful in understanding bureaucracy at a supranational level. It's strange to recognize how odd it is to suppose there could be only one culture with PA relevant information. But having a country-specific discipline is part of the work identity of public administrators at lower levels. This parallels the claim that the contemplation of bureaucracies can be enriched with multidisciplinary perspectives. What's described as epistemic pluralism? PA can learn more from a business, an economic, a political, a critical theory, a post-structural, a psychoanalytic, a neuroscience, a feminist, an ethical, and a data perspective. For police thinkers, cops could profit by thinking more out of the box. Essay number 4, that was summarized by saying a post-traditional public administration recognizing identity. Let's create a post-traditional consciousness in PA theory that can revitalize bureaucracy and governance. This essay, number 4, describes the traditional, the post-traditional, including imaginization, postmodernism, and epistemic pluralism. More analytic details are provided in books for instance, To Kill the King, Post-Traditional Governance and Bureaucracy. It devotes 6 chapters each to explaining thinking as play, justice as seeking, and practice as art. Another thing that should be said is that academic disciplines have identity issues. 3 examples are noted in this essay. What do the articles indicate about public administration theory? I think there are 3 things. Imagination can help. Identity is critical. And the aims of post-traditional are sensible. The first thing we'll turn to then, imagination can help. Was the 9/11 Commission on Terrorist Attacks in the United States right or wrong when it spoke about institutionalizing imagination? I'm quoting now from the 9/11 Commission. It's therefore crucial to find a way of routinizing, even bureaucratizing, the exercise of imagination. Imagine that adequate imagination is more than merely connecting the dots. Essay number 4 describes imagination as creative rationality. One way is by repeating the example given by ex-world chess champion Garry Kasparov. And it appeals to me because of my kid identity as a chess player and my recognition that it is an entirely rational game. It includes but goes beyond the merely rational. Kasparov writes, in chess, we have a name for the sort of imagination required to break out of the usual patterns and startle our opponent. We call it fantasy. Now, I don't like that name, and I call it imaginization, but you can find others. One possibility is to think of Einstein. Einstein thought a great deal about the relationship of space and time. Later, of course, he did express this in mathematical terms, but he sat pondering it when he was a kid. And I'm certain that he was more gifted than I am at thinking about things. The second one is that identity is critical. Both the work and non-work identities are critical. As a possible example, the identity of universities, many depending on money and lots of students, may overemphasize student evaluations of courses rather, and may have many students who favor the micro issues in the classes they're taking. The student's own identities seeking a job as, say, a police officer may incline them to suppose that macro issues are not as important or interesting as micro street issues. Well, we all have identity limitations, and it's best to be conscious of our limitations. Well, another thing I want to return to is that the claim that the aims of the post-traditional are sensible. The kind of contemplation of the post-traditional outlined in the final section of Essay 4 is intended to be helpful. One example relating to the claim that we all have conscious and unconscious mindsets, and the claim that epistemic pluralism is a significant element of the post-traditional, suggests that interested thinkers contemplate the Western tradition that knowledge is conceptualized in the form of a tree. Knowledge is divided into an hierarchical character into branches and sub-branches. Now, postmodernists contrast the tree model with the rhizome model. A rhizome is a root-like and typically horizontal stem that grows along the ground and sends out roots below and items above. It's not like a tree or like a rhizome, or both. What does that imply, if anything, for PA theorizing? Is there anything else I would like to add? Yes. Thank you to my friends and other theorists at Patna.